This week, we witnessed the shocking return and bi-generation of a classic Doctor Who villain. We wrap up Andor with that amazing series finale. We talk about some multiversal things happening in the MCU, and so much more. Welcome to the Infinite Taylorverse. Warning.
Red alert.
Ay, 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 ay!
Danger, Will Robinson. Danger!
That's the emergency alert.
This episode is full of spoilers for some of the latest and greatest nerdy movies and shows.
Spoilers.
Listener discretion is advised. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Infinite Taylorverse podcast. I'm Billy Taylor.
I'm Taylor Oxner.
And this week we're back. We're here to talk about all the fun stuff happening out there in the pop culture universe. But before we jump into any of that, Taylor, what have you been nerding out about this week, man?
This week I've been nerding out about the movie. It's an older movie, Sicario.
Okay.
Have you ever seen it?
Who? I know that name. Who's in that?
Emily Blunt and the guy who played Josh Brolin.
Okay.
And what's the guy name who played the collector?
Benicio del Toro, maybe?
Yeah,
Okay.
Benicio del Toro's in it as well. And it's like a CIA kind of movie.
Okay.
It's good.
That's awesome. For me, I am nerding out about how much Lady Gaga do you listen to?
Not a ton, but I mean, I do.
Well, apparently Lady Gaga and the Goo Goo Dolls are teaming up to do their Goo Goo Gaga tour. Okay, I'm just totally being stupid right now. That was dumb. Anyway. No, what I'm really nerding out about is Doctor Who. The second season of this newest iteration has been amazing. And this past weekend, an old villain who has kind of been hinted at throughout the past two seasons, I guess, has come back. And there's been this old lady that's shown up at every event they've been doing. Well, come to find out in this last episode, she's really this old villain called the Ronnie, which is another Time Lord. And it's a person who's kind of teamed up with the Master in the past. And much like David Tennant, when David Tennant bi-generated, so that we still have David Tennant hanging out somewhere, and then also the new Doctor played by Ncuti Gatwa, the Ronnie at the end of this last episode, when we discovered who it was, also bi-generated. So that means there's two versions of this bad guy running around. And I don't know, if you're into Doctor Who lore, it was a really cool moment. And I'm just excited to see what they do with that in the next episode and the episodes to come. And that might not make a whole lot of sense to folks who don't watch tons of Doctor Who, but for me, it was awesome, and I can't wait to see what they do with it.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Let's jump over into Marvel. I know last week we announced that there's going to be a trailer for Ironheart, and since then we've been able to see it. What do you think about that trailer?
I thought the trailer was really cool. That's it, though.
Yeah.
I mean, we kind of got a little bit of information. Okay, so I do have one gripe. I don't know why I have a gripe about this, but I do. The guy who they have to pick as the Hood,
Uh-huh.
the character the Hood, doesn't feel like the Hood to me,
Yeah, and
visually.
no offense to the guy, he just seems young and small.
Yeah, I just didn't find him menacing enough.
Right.
And
He
maybe maybe we haven't seen him like really act. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
we've just seen spots of it, so like I can't really judge him too hard.
Yeah.
But this feels like a square peg in a round hole to me.
Yeah.
But that's just like first blush. Like he could like totally like
Knock it out of the park.
knock it out of the park. Yeah. But just at first blush, I'm just like, that doesn't even feel like the Red Hood. He just doesn't. He doesn't look scary at all.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Just not menacing.
It's just not, there's just something that's just not there. I don't know. Anyway, who knows? Like I said, guy could knock it out of the park, but I don't think he looks big enough. I don't think he has like this weird, scary, I'm trying to hold back this nasty, nightmarish thing underneath the surface kind of vibe. But like
Yeah.
I said, what did we see? Like 5 seconds? It's hard for me to judge. Like I
Right.
could be completely judging the crap out of this and I could be completely in the wrong. So hopefully I'm in the wrong, but that was my only gripe.
Yeah.
Everything else looked amazing.
I know he was one of the heroes on the latest live action Transformers movie, so it was kind of weird seeing him in that role to me because of usually seeing this guy as a good guy. But I think I feel the same way as you on both parts. I'm not judging it because it might be amazing and blow us away. You're right, he just kind of felt a little out of place. But again, we'll see it soon and we'll know for actual facts how it goes down.
Yeah, like this guy's fought the New Avengers to a standstill before. Like I want that guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think like I want to see that. Also, it could be like his origin story too.
Yeah, that's true.
So like he could be like booting up at the same time she is. So we could be seeing like this isn't my final form, quote unquote, you know.
Yep. I'll bet that's what it is now that you think about it, because that's exactly what she's doing. So it would make sense to see him kind of doing that too.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. We know Daredevil Born Again just wrapped up season one, and season two is already underway. But they just officially announced, it's been rumors and speculation, but they officially announced Kristen Ritter is going to show up as Jessica Jones in season two. And it's
Whoop.
still rumors that some of those other Defenders characters will show up, but she's been officially announced as of this week. So that's kind of cool.
I wonder if she's in that prison.
Oh, yeah, the one that Kingpin made up.
Yeah.
That would be interesting. We know that Fantastic Four is coming real soon. It's going to be here in less than 2 months. And it was just announced that they are doing some emergency last minute reshoots, which most of these movies do stuff like this, especially as they start to develop the bigger connected movies like Avengers and whatnot. And they realize, like, oh, we got to tweak XYZ. So it's no surprise. But this week they started a whole bunch of reshoots, and that movie's coming out in less than 2 months. So I just thought that was kind of interesting.
They're all for Doomsday.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm positive.
There might not even be reshoots for the Fantastic Four movie. It might be we're shooting something for Doomsday that we need those characters that we
Yeah.
thought we were done shooting for.
Yeah. And then we know Marvel's been awesome at all these great series as of the past few years, but they just also announced that Vision Quest, which is coming up soon, is going to be the final MCU series that is fully tied to the movies. And I guess what they mean by that is obviously Vision and his connections came from the movies, heavily tied in the movies, the Avengers movies, all kinds of movies. But after that series moving forward, these new series will still take place in the MCU and still have ties to the MCU, but the focal point won't be from stuff that we've seen in movies, is what they made it sound like.
So more Daredevil.
Yeah, stuff like that. And I'm okay with that. When they do a good job's a good job.
Yeah, it's fine. There's got to be some sort of separation between characters and you know what I mean. That's
Yeah.
something that's always been kind of in Marvel. Is there's been sort of there's like worlds almost within worlds,
Yeah.
but it's like it's not like the Avengers are going to come down to fight. You know, I don't know, Bullseye
Right.
or people like that. It's hard to kind of explain, but it's like there it is. It's like there's different tiers of emergency, requires different tiers of teams.
Yeah. Speaking of Vision Quest, it was just reported that a character that is going to show up and is being cast for is the character Jocasta, who I guess in the comics was Ultron's bride.
Yeah, so like Ultron's bride and then wound up being Vision's bride,
Okay.
if I remember correctly. Or Vision's sister?
Yeah, I don't remember much about that character.
I know that she marries Hank Pym at one point or another, or
Okay.
Hank Pym and her have a relationship,
Gotcha. Well,
and that gets weird.
yeah. Is that character also an artificial intelligent character or
Yeah,
okay, that makes sense because I don't know much about that character at all.
she looks more like Ultron than Vision, but yeah, it's in the same vein.
Gotcha. Well, that makes sense that she would show up in the Vision Quest series.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's see, the Russo brothers were recently interviewed again about some stuff, and someone started asking them, with Robert Downey Jr. coming back, what's the connection to stuff that we've already seen? And they're like, we're not going to give any spoilers or anything, but his role as Doctor Doom is heavily tied to Tony Stark's death in Avengers Endgame. And I don't know what that means, but maybe it's kind of like what you and I were thinking. He's gonna swoop in from another universe and pretend to be Tony Stark, and then we find the deep dark truth about it all. I feel like that would make the most sense.
Yeah, maybe.
And another thing about Avengers Doomsday, this is just, whatever, take it however you want to take it. But apparently, a fan broke into the set recently that they're currently filming on. And the part of the set that he broke into was Madripoor, just like we saw back in, I think, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So if this fan is telling the truth out on the internet, it sounds like they'll be revisiting Madripoor again.
Hmm.
Oh, this is a crazy one. There's been all kinds of speculation about when we finally see some X-Men show up in the MCU. Now, the first thing I'll say is I read this morning that there's no plans to see new X-Men before we see Avengers Secret Wars. Like every X-Men we'll see at that point will be actors we've seen portray characters already. That's what this article said. But everything after will be brand new actors and stuff, with maybe an exception here and there, but they didn't name names or anything like that. But all that to say, the latest rumor of who's going to play Magneto is Daniel Day-Lewis. Have you seen that rumor floating around?
Yeah, I did. That's wild.
Yeah,
I can't imagine that.
that'd be crazy.
Yeah.
And then I wonder who'd be a
Yes.
good Professor X across from him. I've really
I
got no
don't know.
candidates in mind.
I don't either.
But yeah, that's the biggest rumor floating around about those guys. Speaking of returning X-Men folks, another thing sounds like Oscar Isaac, who has played Moon Knight, he's played Apocalypse, and he has played Miguel O'Hara in Across the Spider-Verse. He is going to be showing up as all three of those characters in Avengers Secret Wars. So that's kind of,
What?
yeah, that's kind of crazy and kind of cool, if it's true.
You know what? I do have somebody who could play him opposite of him as Professor X.
Oh, who you thinking?
Is the guy from Alphas, the main teacher guy.
Oh, yeah. Like the main guy on Alphas, he had like a beard and glasses.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're right. David Strathairn is the guy's name.
Okay, yeah, him.
I could totally see that. Shave his head and and put him in there.
Oh yeah.
I'd be down.
We'll see him being Magneto though too.
Oh, you're right. And with his gray hair that he already has slicked back, yep, I could see that too.
Yeah.
Another thing floating around out there is that the actress Sadie Sink from Stranger Things is reportedly being cast as Mayday Parker in Spider-Man Brand New Day, which will somehow be a multiversal thing, and she's supposedly Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man's daughter. And if that's so, that'll be pretty interesting. We also know that the actor Steven Yen, who plays Glenn on Walking Dead, and he's Invincible on Invincible, has been hired as something on Spider-Man Brand New Day. We don't know what, but he's going to be in the cast.
He was originally going to be Sentry.
I know. That would have been crazy. I think he would have been awesome. But I still think the guy they picked did a pretty good job.
Pretty good. He did an amazing
Oh, it
job.
was fantastic.
Do you think he's going to be like a Spider-Man villain?
I don't know.
And if he is a Spider-Man villain, which one do you think he is?
The Rhino. I'm just kidding. Totally kidding. I
That'd
don't
be
know. Yeah, that would be
that'd be
pretty funny.
hilarious. Hammerhead.
Yeah.
uh,
Tombstone.
no.
No, I know. Man, I don't know.
You think he could be a goblin?
Oh, well. Or what if he's Harry Osborn or something?
Oh, maybe.
That'd be crazy.
Or what if he's well, we already have Shocker. We already have a Mysterio. Did we have a Scorpion?
I believe so. That one guy who showed up very briefly
Oh
and he got put in prison and he interacted with Michael Keaton briefly.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Do we have an Electro in the MCU yet?
Electro. No?
I'm trying to think of like Spider-Man villains that they haven't used.
Yeah.
Puma could be the Puma.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, he's going to be in there, and I like pretty much everything I've ever seen the guy do, so
Yeah, me
I'm
too.
anxious to see what he's going to be. Let's see, Doctor Strange 3 reportedly has a title, and it's going to be Doctor Strange in the Incursion of Insanity.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Is that going to be the movie that's between Secret War and Doomsday?
It could be, because there's no date attached to it, but we do know there's that movie that's mysteriously in there.
With the name Incursion, so it has to take part in that time frame.
That would make sense.
Or right before Secret War, maybe?
Yeah, it's probably I don't know how many they'll have in between, but it's probably the one right before it. You're right.
Which
And
means we'd be seeing stuff for it already, yeah?
at that point, I would think so.
Huh, okay.
They've also said that there's going to be an Annihilators project in the works, and it's going to feature
Oh my
Silver Surfer.
gosh.
Yeah.
That'll be so wild.
Yeah, the big rumor is it's going to feature Silver Surfer, and it's going to finally have the Norrin Rad version of Silver Surfer. So that'll be cool.
I wonder what their reasoning for having this for. Oh, maybe it's because it's in a different universe.
That's my guess. Why they're going with what's her name, Shala Ball.
Shalabal. Yeah, it's which is the opposite of Norrin Rad
Yeah.
in the normal MCU.
And speaking of Silver Surfer, it sounds like he's going to appear in multiple MCU projects, including this Annihilators thing, and then eventually a solo Silver Surfer movie. And all these are going to start at some point after the Fantastic Four. So that's pretty cool.
Okay.
And that's really it with Marvel. Over with DC, we know that the official full length trailer for Superman came out last week, and I loved it so much.
Yeah, it was really good.
I'm excited to see, this movie. The trailer definitely was very comic booky, and that made me so happy.
Yeah, for sure it was.
And anyone that's an Amazon Prime member, they just announced that if you're a Prime member, you're going to have an opportunity to buy tickets and go to the movie theater about a week in advance of everybody else. So if that's the case, I am very excited about my Amazon Prime account right now.
Yeah, no joke.
So this is a little side thing. The actor Zolo Maraduena, who plays Jaime Reyes, the newest Blue Beetle, someone asked him at a Comic-Con recently. It was actually Motor City Comic-Con about a week ago. And a fan asked, "Are we seeing Blue Beetle again? Do you get like Blue Beetle 2 or anything like that?" And he said, "You'll see Blue Beetle again. But I think before we get Blue Beetle 2, you're going to see me in other movies first." And then he ended that statement with, "Make sure you go see Superman." And people that were there are speculating that, "Oh, we're going to see Blue Beetle and Superman." And it could have just been a comment like, "Hey, make sure you go see it." But what an interesting thing to say to end that conversation.
Yeah. Maybe we'll get to see at the end a whole welcome to the DC universe that shows different shots of different heroes doing things.
Oh, yeah, that would be cool. I just know I'm so excited for Superman. We're, gosh, about a month and a half away, and every little glimpse we get is making me more and more excited. And they've been giving us really good trailers, but I feel like we don't know anything about the plot yet, and I'm happy about that.
There is that weird villainous character that I don't really quite know who that is,
Yeah,
but it looks like Ultraman, maybe.
and maybe the big U on the chest is like a red herring or something. But yeah, that's a lot of fans think that's who that's going to wind up being.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, that's really about it with DC for this week. But over with Star Wars, there's not a lot of news except the Andor finale came out this past week. And I think I already mentioned that it took me a little while to get into season two, honestly, till about the sixth episode. And then suddenly it just clicked with me and I could not stop watching it. And then the finale was just so good with all the connection of everything that we know is leading up to the Rogue One movie. But one of the things that I thought was really cool is we've been, as Star Wars fans, people have wanted some Knights of the Old Republic stuff to happen live action. And I don't know if anyone noticed in the whole museum scene with all that antique stuff, there was a Gungan skull. And carved into that Gungan skull was the symbol of Darth Raven's Sith Empire that he had way back in the Knights of the Old Republic time period. And that's the first glimpse of anything like that we've seen on screen. So I feel like maybe that's just a little foreshadow for fans that have been anxiously awaiting some Knights of the Old Republic stuff.
Yeah, I don't really understand why that's never been like force fed to fans at this point,
Right.
since how long they've been clamoring for it.
Yep.
But any little bit, still waiting for more Darth Plagueis stuff, too.
Oh, I
So
know. And since it sounds like they might be backtracking that whole Acolyte being canceled thing, maybe we will get that. I hope we do.
yeah, at least give me like an hour and a half long episode that kind of wraps everything up.
Yeah. Even if it's just his side of things.
Yeah, like it's or one of those special presentations, but for Star Wars.
Right. Do this. Do this thing for us.
Yeah.
Well, in another spaceship having futuristic worldscape, Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 3, this premieres on Paramount Plus on Thursday, July 17th, and we get a 2 episode premiere. And I know I've talked about this before, but that show is so much fun. The episode they did with the crossover with the Lower Decks cartoon was amazing. Even if you hate musicals, their musical episode was amazing and it made
Yeah,
sense. It wasn't just magic or what, like it made sense. Anyway, that series is coming back in about a month and a half, and I'm super pumped.
that's awesome, man.
In the past, we talked about a live action Voltron coming, starring Henry Cavill, and it is still coming, but they just announced that they scrapped all the plans to make it a theatrical release, and it's going to be an Amazon Prime original release.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah, I still get to see it.
Yeah.
Also, last week, Hulu put out the first image of this upcoming continuation of King of the Hill, and it looked hilarious. All the guys, the main guys, their bellies are a little bit bigger, and Dale was wearing like VR goggles and holding his cigarette, and
That's awesome.
and it was really funny. So if people out there listening, if you haven't seen it, go Google the first image for the upcoming King of the Hill continuation. It was awesome. So Zack Snyder came out with his Rebel Moon movie, and it was supposedly going to become a new franchise. But Netflix just announced that they have canceled that franchise. So I haven't even seen the first one. I guess I haven't had an interest. Not that I think I'd be opposed to it. I just
I tried
haven't.
to watch it. It's so not great.
And I've just haven't made the time for it. And that means a lot, I guess, because I like a lot of movies and watch a lot of things. But yeah.
Speaking of another movie like that that was on stream, did you ever watch Electric State?
Yeah, our whole family sat down one night and watched it. We enjoyed
Oh, was
that.
it good?
I liked it.
Okay, had yet to talk to anyone who had actually seen it, and I was like, I need somebody to tell me if this was even decent because I don't want to sit down and be bummed out
I liked
that
that
it
it
was
was
bad.
yeah, I'm not calling it, the cinematic masterpiece of the year or anything, but I liked that it was other than, violence, but no worse than a Marvel movie or anything. It was family friendly. My kids could watch it with us. That was nice. And it had a good storyline, and it had enough jerks in the movie to make you really hate the bad guys and you really rooted for the good guys. I liked it.
That's awesome. Cool.
Let's see. People watching The Last of Us season 2 right now, that show's kind of ramping up the action. And this past episode was a flashback episode. So we saw some stuff with Joel and Ellie before the recent events that we all know went down. But this morning I read an article that said the final part of Last of Us season 2, although the front half has so far mirrored the game storyline a lot, the second half of this season is going to start to kind of deviate from what we know from the game. So for fans who are, feeling like, oh man, I kind of know how it's going, it sounds like that's not the case with the show.
Oh, well, maybe they won't end it in such a bummer.
Yeah, I know the big bummer that people dreaded, people who've played the game, has kind of already happened, but maybe Ellie will get some better revenge than she did in the game. I don't know.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones has a spinoff coming, another one. It's called A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, and it's going to come out sometime next year in 2026.
Okay.
I know no facts about it other than it's a spinoff.
Well, happy for those fans, I
Yep, yep.
guess.
Let's see, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. That movie was so much fun when it came out last year.
Yes.
And we've got that Paramount Plus sequel series. I haven't even watched it yet. I need to sit down and watch it with my kids. But they just announced that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem 2 will come out in 2027. So
Awesome.
they're keeping that line going, which is great because that was a lot of fun.
That was a lot of fun.
For fans of Wicked, we know that movie came out this past winter. And for people who like that kind of thing, it was amazing. I love musicals. I love this movie. It's 3 hours long, and I've watched it so many times already with my family. But we know they've split it into two movies, and part two comes out this November. But we're finally going to get a trailer for the second part on June the 4th, they've announced. So we're going to get that trailer pretty soon, it sounds like.
Okay.
And that is all the news I have for this week. As I keep saying, got some fun stuff in the Kansas City area coming up in June. There's the Anime Wrestle Fest. There's the Kansas City Crypticon, which I just found out is on the same weekend. So I'm going to have to pick one for a Saturday and one for a Sunday or something like that because there's people I want to meet at both of them.
Oh, wow.
And they're both affordable entries, so that's good.
What are the entries looking like?
For the Anime Wrestle Fest, a 1-day pass is $24. That's not horrible.
No.
And for Kansas City Crypticon, there's, I believe it's 25 in advance, but 30 at the door.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I mean, when you're used to paying like $80 to go to Planet Comic Con, that's not terrible.
Not at all.
But yeah, those are coming up at the end of June. My big 40 birthday is the week right before, and I think that's what I want. That's my birthday present. Go to those events.
That's awesome.
I know, man. 40. 4 decades. It's crazy.
Yuck.
Right? What is this getting old business?
Gross.
But hey, As for us here at the Taylorverse, I've been Billy Taylor.
Taylor Oxer.
Come back next week, guys. Same Taylor time, same Taylor channel.
Bye.
Bye.